Yeah. Thoroughbred. Well, she didn't get goofy about all that. Hello, welcome to Tim Anderson Horse Training. This is a new horse that just came in, so we're going to do an evaluation video of her. And the story that I was told was that she raced as a 2-year-old, raced at one race. She is a thoroughbred. She raced one time, and for whatever reason, she didn't race anymore. They pulled her off the track. She's had a couple babies. I believe they said she's had 2 babies. I'm not sure. And now she's 6 years old, has a new owner, and she hasn't been ridden since she was raced, is what I was told. She seems to have a pretty good mind. What I've noticed so far, I'm gonna go ahead and start brushing on her, and we'll see how she does. We'll see what holes I find that we need to work on, and we'll go from there. Her owner, I've been talking to him for a while, at least a couple of weeks, and I don't think he has had her all that long. I know when he first got her, he was having trouble catching her in the pasture, and we talked about that, and I talked him through some things to help that situation, and it sounded like it got better pretty quick without too much trouble. So everything that I've seen so far with her, it seems like she's got a pretty good mind. There's a little white spot right here, right where a girth would be. I don't know if that's from a girth or if that's from something else. So it might be from a girth, I don't know, just something to note of because of its location. It might not have anything to do with the girth. I noticed earlier, I brushed her right here and she gave her back a little bit, but she hasn't again. So I'm thinking she was just sensitive to that touch. I assume she hasn't been handled a whole lot. If she had a baby, her bags are kind of big, so she has had a couple of babies. I don't know when she had the last one. If it would have had to have been last year, because if she was bred this spring, she'd be pregnant now. So at the latest that it would have been is they would have weaned the baby off of her last year. So she's at least 7, 8, 10 months from having a baby weaned off of her. So she's been without a baby for a while. Her condition isn't too bad. I can feel some ribs, I can see some ribs. She's a little bit weak right here, but that's muscle from not having any work and from raising a couple babies. That's not that big a deal. I've noticed her feet, they need to be trimmed, but it looks like she has been trimmed regularly at some point. They're not terrible bad like she's been 2 years without being trimmed. So there's no big toe flares or anything like that. So I think her feet have been done regular, even though they need to be done now. They're pretty bad right now. I'm gonna go ahead and pick her feet up and see what she does. I don't know how she does with her feet. So we'll see what she does with her feet. I don't know what to expect. Actually really good. She definitely needs to be trimmed, but it looks like she has been trimmed regularly. See what she does with the back. Not too bad. So she was much better with her front feet than she was her back feet. We need to do some work with her back feet. I'm guessing whoever had her, maybe for whatever reason, they did the front feet regular, but maybe was afraid to pick up her back. I'm not too sure. Back needs some work, but wasn't terrible. Okay, so this horse, I don't think has been saddled in about 4 years from the story that I got. And even then, I doubt that it was saddled with a Western saddle. So I'm gonna saddle her out here like she's never been saddled before. I'll sack her out with the pad a little bit. Then I'll throw the saddle up and down a few times, kind of see what her reaction is and see where I need to work. I don't really like to start every horse from the beginning as if they have never been saddled, never been worked with. I feel like that time should be spent doing the things that the horse needs. And if I'm doing that, I'm kind of wasting the owner's time and money. So I'm gonna keep going in the parts where it looks like she's okay. And then I'll stop and I'll work on the parts where it looks like she needs to work.
All right, video.
So my typical order for a horse that I'm starting or a horse like this that I'm kind of restarting is I'm going to put the bridle on before I put the pad and the saddle on. The reason for that is I want the horse to feel the bridle, feel the bit, and have that sensation while I'm working the pad and the saddle. I've noticed with horses, it seems like things go a lot better that way. I'm gonna put this 5/16 twisted wire on her. I wouldn't use this on a horse that I was starting for the first time. However, she took that really good. However, since she has been ridden before and she has been raced, I want to put that on her. But I'm thinking when I do start riding her, that's probably the bit that I'm going to want to go to. So I'll try that bit. If it don't work out, I'll put a different one on next time. So I want to get it adjusted in her mouth. Make sure that it hangs in the bars. She's opening her mouth and it's falling pretty far. That don't look too bad there. When a horse runs on the track, they maintain a pretty good bit of contact on the bit. So there's a good bit of tension on the horse's mouth from the track. And one thing I do when I'm restarting a horse that has raced, I put that bit even a little bit looser than what I would normally put a bit, just to help get the horse chewing just like she's chewing and try to help with that tension so that she's not going to ride on the bit like she was used to when she raced. Now looking at her teeth look really good. I don't see anything anywhere near the bit. It's sitting in the bit is sitting in a good place on the bars, so we're going to go with that right there. Now I'll throw the pad up a couple of times. We'll see what we got. Not bad. And like I said, when I'm restarting a horse, I'm going to be tuned in to what the horse is doing, her ears, their expression, but I'm generally going to treat them like a broke horse. I'm not going to treat her like a young horse that's never been ridden. I'm going to treat her like a broke horse, and I'm going to see where the holes are. I know this horse has been ridden because it was raced. And if I treat her like a horse and restart her like a horse that's never been ridden, I'm really wasting the owner's time and money. That actually looks really good. She doesn't seem worried. She seems like she understands. And that she's okay with that pad being thrown up there. She's got a leg cocked. She seems relaxed. So let's go ahead and go to the saddle. She could have had a Western saddle on her in the past, but I'm thinking probably not. So I'm going to set it up there and watch her reaction. Actually, not too bad. She still was chewing. Not bad at all. Her ears was forward, paying attention to the other horse. She really don't seem worried about the saddle. So since she don't seem worried, I'm going to keep going. Put a little pressure right here. Seems good there. They ain't even humping her back up. I need to go up a hole on the other side. There was a little flinch there. Now I'm going to bring the girth up, and I'm going to get it snug but not very tight, probably not even tight enough for the saddle to stay on if she was to buck. It's not very tight at all. It's just sitting there. Just see what she does when I move her feet. See how sticky her feet are. Not too bad. She didn't hump her back up. What I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get this rope so that I can get it off easy. And I'll go ahead and snug the saddle up. I know she has had a saddle snugged on her before, but I doubt it was a Western saddle, so I don't think the pressure of the saddle getting tight on her is going to be a problem. I think when she goes to move off, the fact that it's so big is going to be a problem. I want to make sure I get it tight enough that it stays. This hole right here should be good. Saddle pad could be adjusted a little bit better, but that's okay. I can do that in a little bit. Now I'm going to ask her to move out, and we'll just see what happens. She might buck, she might not. Don't really know what to expect. Seemed like a really nice trot. She went over to visit with that other horse to the hay. Definitely don't seem too worried about the saddle. Nah, she's a little worried about the saddle. See if we can trot that out a little bit. She sure is a big moving horse. Don't really necessarily want her to move fast. I just like for her to move. Overall, that wasn't too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and just let her wear the saddle for just a little bit, get used to it. Then I'll come back later and I'll work her again. Okay, so I saddled her and I bridled her. You saw that a minute ago. And then I just turned her out here. Just left her turned out wearing the saddle for a while. She's been out here a pretty good while, probably 2 hours, just wearing the saddle. She has laid down and rolled. So the saddle's pretty dirty, she's pretty dirty. I don't really worry about that. I got a good quality saddle. I know that's not gonna hurt her or the saddle. And I've kind of watched her. Really like the personality that she's given me. She seems like she has a lot of personality. She never did buck with the saddle or anything. She's been going over and playing with the water. Don't expect her to stand still to get on, but I do want her to start working the mountain block. She's going to need to learn to stand still for her owner or whoever may want to ride her in the future. She's a tall horse and you're going to want to use a mounting block. So we're going to work that just a minute. I have not lunged her. She is breathing a little heavy because it's just a little hot out here. So what I'll do is I'll step up on the mountain block. She kind of scooted away. Just gonna bring her around. Now since she did race, she's used to a jockey being thrown up on her while she's walking. So a lot of this with a thoroughbred is they're just trying to do what they were originally taught. So I'm not gonna punish her for doing what she was trained to do. I'm just gonna try to show her that I want something else. So let's see if we can get her to just stand here. Good girl. Just pat on her and stand here. She walked off when I touched her butt. I'll bring her around, we'll do it again. And keep bringing her around here and putting her in front of the step. What I've seen of this horse, she seems pretty nice. She did not buck at all with the saddle. I don't think she's gonna buck when I get on her. She just needs to learn a few things that wasn't taught to her before. Good girl. Good girl. Take another step around. There we go. Good girl. Good girl. When I get in the position where I'd put my foot in the stirrup, she's a little fidgety, which I would expect that because of her history. Let's see if we can just get her to just stand here for a minute. Good girl. If I do get on her today, I'm probably not going to ask her to do very much. I really want to be working on the retraining that she needs for her new career that's not on the track. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. All right, we're gonna walk away. Good girl, come on. Come back around, we'll do it again. I'll probably end up editing a lot of this out when I put this video together. I know I'm gonna do a lot of this getting up and down and petting on her. Probably way more than I'm gonna be able to hold your attention watching. It's pretty boring, but it's the stuff that really needs to be done. I'm probably gonna end up working her to queue up to the step. Not gonna do that today, but she would be a good prospect to do that. Good girl. Now when I do go to get on, I'm gonna go ahead and once I start, I'm gonna commit and I'm gonna get up there. She's probably gonna move her feet. I'll pull her head around, and when her feet get still, I'll get back off. What I wanna work on is getting off when she gets still more than working her to make her stand still. The reason being is because of what her past training was. I don't know if you're familiar with how horses are worked on the track or not, but they throw the jockey up while the horse is being ponied, and they never teach the horse to stop and stand. So her walking off when I go to put my foot in the stirrup, she's not trying to say no. She's just doing what she was taught in her training. So I'm not going to fuss at her for that. I'm just going to try to teach her something else. Well, let's see what happens. That was actually way better than I thought it was going to be. Pet on her, and I'm going to step down. We'll do it again. Good girl. I don't know what all's been done with this horse in the past, but I like her mind. Whether it's been trained by someone since the track, or she just is generally broke and okay with it. I'm not sure which the case is, but either way, she seems comfortable with what I'm doing, and I like it. I think this is gonna end up being a nice horse. Of course, now she might buck me off next time I get on. We'll see. It's gone good so far though. Go ahead and ask her to walk a little bit. She's breathing heavy, but all she's done is just walk around in this paddock. So she's pretty unfit. They said she hasn't been ridden since she was raced as a 2-year-old. But she's definitely unfit. Good girl. Let's go this way. Well, you been this way? I wasn't expecting her to be this soft in the face. Good girl. I think I'm going to quit on her there for today. I think that was a good place to quit for today. Let's get her back stopped again and I'll step down. So you'll see more of her in some future videos. I think this is going to be a nice horse. I'll put a link to some more videos up top here. Until next time, thank you for watching.